Hey there, good evening. Nice to see you. It's always nice to see the people of the Bronx. We are here for the Bronx Buzz, and we're going to be talking about all different topics of interest. We talk with journalists and reporters and writers and editors and all different people who put stuff out so we can get informed about what's really going on out there. In our second segment, we have a journalist turned photographer who has taken some unbelievable photos of the Bronx. We'll examine those. But right now, let's say hello to Dario Maestro, who's the senior legal fellow at what I didn't hear about before this, the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project called STOP. Nice to see you, Dario.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for having me. It's a
And
pleasure.
and let's talk about what is Surveillance Technology Oversight Project. STOP.
Yeah, happy to talk about it, introduce new people to STOP and what we do. STOP is a New York-based civil rights group that advocates and litigates for privacy. We work with communities that have been disproportionately targeted by surveillance technologies. And we hope to transform New York City and New York State into models of privacy-preserving legislation that hopefully can inspire other states in the US or at a federal level and other countries around the world.
Gee, this opens up a whole other segment than what we had talked about because Dario put out a fascinating piece in opinion piece in City Limits. And that's what we want to talk about the ballot proposals. But what kinds of technology are of concern to you? Things like when you go to the ballpark, they do face recognition. Is that the kind of thing that's of concern? There are many cameras now in our streets, which are frankly helpful with solving crimes and other things. What are the things that you folks are concerned about?
That's exactly right. At Stop we cover all sides of the technology industry and their impact on society, both on the civil and criminal sides. So right now we're very concerned with biometric technologies and the avenues for government and corporate surveillance that those open up. So, like you mentioned, the
Face recognition
possibility.
and things, yeah.
The
Things like that.
possibility
Because
of
then,
being tracked.
so I go to the ball game over there at Yankee Stadium or City Field, and everybody knows what that I was there, and maybe they'll know who I'm with. I mean, it's a scary thing. How does that
Exactly.
relate? How does that, or does it relate to your writing of a piece about the ballot proposals?
My writing of the piece was more of a personal interest in city politics that, however, has the potential to verge into my work at Stop. These proposals that we're going to talk about and the ballot questions have the potential of affecting shifting enforcement powers and expanding policing into new areas. And wherever there's policing, there's privacy involved. So it's likely that if this ballot proposals pass, we're going to have to deal with them, the aftermath of those. But it also affects my life as a New Yorker. These proposals talk about issues like street vending, homelessness, budgeting, public safety. So these are issues that affect us, all of us, on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And I just really wanted to write something for my non-lawyer friends to share with them to explain how serious this really is.
So some of those things are, yeah.
Mhm.
So the opinion piece is the mayor's ballot questions are a quiet power grab. We'll leave aside proposal one, which I'm assuming adds certain protections to the state bill of rights, and I'm assuming that considering what you're all about, and I told you before, I have my official
Mhm.
voter guide with me, so I'm following right along. So
That's right.
ballot proposal two would amend the city charter to expand and clarify the Department of Sanitation's power to clean streets. What is problematic for you about proposal two?
I think generally the big theme of these charter revisions is that they're designed in the context of a power struggle between the mayor's administration and city council. And while the language of the proposals may seem innocent or unrelated to the political context, the ultimate goals are very much to hand over a political win in this fight with the city council to the mayor. They generally add unnecessary bureaucracy and try to slow down the legislative process coming out of the city council in an attempt to hopefully block public safety reforms. Specifically, this proposal regarding sanitation would charge the Department of Sanitation with the cleaning of some areas of city-owned property that are not so clear right now, but it would also expand the sanitation's authority to enforce and street vending laws to not just streets and sidewalks, but other
But the
areas like
vendors as
parks.
well, and of course, there's a whole kind of grassroots economy in those street vendors. Certainly, by the Kingsbridge Armory, we know there's a whole
That's right.
block full of people who are selling stuff. I don't want to run out of time, so let's see. Ballot Proposal 3 would require fiscal analysis from the council before hearings to vote on laws. So they're making the council work before they're able to really have a dialogue about stuff. Again, what you said, holding the city council back from
Mhm.
being able to kind of move forward and do its job.
That's right. This proposal may seem innocent, and of course, transparency in all sorts of institutions of government is welcome. However, this just adds processes where there's enough. City council under this proposal will be required to publish fiscal statements before any hearings whatsoever on any bills, then an updated analysis before the final vote, and it would importantly give the mayor's office of management and budget the opportunity to publish their own estimates on bills. So it just adds more time to the legislative process by requiring the city council to do new things. But it also undermines the separation of powers by increasing the mayor's influence over how laws can be proposed and debated and when, and it gives itself the opportunity to combat the cost analysis that comes out of city council.
Of
So
course, and that's why you called it a quiet power grab. It's not going out there and saying, "Okay, I'll make the decisions," but he's taking authority away from. Again, you talked about the balance between the mayor and the city council. All right.
absolutely.
So then, ballot proposal 4 would require additional public notice and time before the city council votes on laws respecting
Mhm,
public safety operations of the police, correction, and fire departments. And so this certainly it follows with what Mayor Adams' agenda has been. He was, of course, a former police detective, police sergeant, maybe, uh,
mhm.
and um, and so here he's saying, let the police decide, have a little more, independence, so to speak, in how they
Mhm.
operate.
You said it perfectly. These
I'm sorry, I took your thunder away. I didn't mean to do that.
I would just like to add that this is probably the proposal that should concern New Yorkers the most. It would create additional requirements and processes, again, the overall theme of this charter revision, for how city council considers laws pertaining to the public safety operations of three agencies. Only three agencies: the NYPD, the Department of Correction, and the Fire Department. The NYPD and the
Excuse me,
Department of
only
Correction,
three agencies. You're
only
talking about
three.
police and fire and corrections. That's
Kind
pretty
of important
important.
ones.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Little things like
The and of course, the NYPD and the Department of Correction have a well-documented history of abusive enforcement that has targeted particular minorities. So what we really need is more oversight and not less oversight. Specifically, this would add 30 days to the legislative process. It would require City Council to give public notice before any vote, during which the mayor could also hold its own hearings on these proposed laws and sort of counter the narrative coming out of the city council.
yeah,
Again,
just make it more difficult to get moving on a lot of issues. It kind of stalls it, puts more barriers in the way. I mean, that's really what we're talking about.
exactly right. And I think context is very interesting here because many council members feel that the Adams administration is pushing this proposal. in direct response to the passage of legislation earlier this year that require more police reporting on lower level encounters. The NYPD now is asked to keep a record of age, race, and gender of people with whom they're having these encounters, sort of to inform the public about what goes on those encounters. And there was a separate law that bans solitary confinement in city jails.
So
Adams.
you think,
Mhm.
excuse me, I just don't want to run out of time. So you think
No, absolutely.
that the mayor is doing this kind of in response to those kind of quote unquote burdens or responsibilities put on police and other security officials?
Well, it really doesn't matter what I think, but these specific laws are called out in the final report of the Charter Revision Commission as examples of bills that would be affected by this proposal. Mayor Adams strongly opposed both measures, vetoed them, then the city council overrode the veto by voting them again
Right.
into bills as they are now. And so I think it's really interesting that the commission call out these bills that Mayor Adams ferociously opposed before.
And we should mention that it was the mayor who set up the Charter Revision Commission, particularly, one would assume, to do these things. Just got a short amount of time, and then number 5 requires more detail in the annual assessment of city facilities, mandating that the facility needs to inform a whole group of other agencies in order to proceed. That's an issue for you.
Yeah, correct. This proposal and 5 and number 6 are sort of less flashy proposals if we want. Number 5 will require the city to publish more information about the repair needs and state of its infrastructure and facilities in the state of a statement of needs report that comes out annually. What I find interesting on this proposal is that Comptroller Brad Lander, the city's top fiscal executive, is credited in the commission's final report for making the recommendation that led to this proposal. However, as soon as the final report came out, he blasted
He
it in a
backed off
statement.
it. Yeah. Listen, we almost got to
Saying
run. Yeah, we
Mhm.
almost got to run. Number 6 proposal would create a new role to support MWBEs, which are minority and women business-owned businesses, allowing the mayor to
Mhm.
designate which agency will film permits and merge 2 boards that manage city records into one. Again, giving City Hall and the mayor more control over what's going on. Listen, we do got to run. Dario
Right.
Maestro, senior legal fellow at the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project. Thank you so much. We really hope you'll follow through on this. Maybe after the election, we can review what happened. And, of course, there's the whole,
Love that.
legal thing with the mayor. And that is troubling to begin with. He may be on the way out. Who knows?
Who's to say?
Anyway, Dario Maestro at Stop. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we're going to keep in touch with you. Maybe we'll get you back and see where we're at after November 5th. Appreciate
I would
your
love
time.
that. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to show pictures of beautiful, incredible, unique pictures of the Bronx. Don't go.